we're not built like that, and they have just so many patience and so many old wisdom that they carry with them, even though they are still quite young sometimes. It's not something they have to learn, it's just something they naturally have.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reinforce the Horse. Today, I'm excited to kick off this new series of discussing and sharing a beautiful project that myself, as well as my guest today, are a part of. I'm here with Nele, and we connected through a very special project, the Dear Equestrians collective coloring book that was put together and illustrated by Nika Quinn. Welcome to the Dear Equestrians collective coloring book series, episode 1. As a bit of a background, the process of the coloring book being manifested and created was a very energetic and powerful experience. As 33 of us total were sharing our journeys alongside of our equine partners with Nika, and she was intuitively capturing each of our stories and putting them into a drawing for the coloring book. Nele and her horses, Bo and Gambit, are on page 18 that is entitled Choose Connection. I'll share the page here on video for those of you tuning in on YouTube shortly. Nele is currently studying craniosacral and myofascial work as well. Before I dive in any deeper, I want to take a moment and say thank you, Nele, so much for joining me, and I'm so excited to hear about your journey today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to very this has been such a wonderful experience to share with so many of with you as well as our collective coloring book community that we've been introduced to. Can you just tell us a little bit about how your horsemanship journey began?
Um, I started riding about 11 years ago, I think. And at first, I was just the normal person at the riding school because I didn't know any better. And then, after a few years, I got my own pony, Bo. So I stopped riding at the riding school. And then I discovered like what I was doing definitely didn't work. She is a chestnut mare, and like the stereotype chestnut mare. But I think she was just misunderstood because she changed so much over the years. Um, I started riding her almost every day when she first came to us. And after 2 months, I think, she started behaving very weird. She was just bucking all the time, and she definitely wasn't feeling very good. And then we went on vacation, and we got a call from the barn owner that she was lame. So I wasn't able to ride her for quite some time, which made us moving barns because she lived in a herd, but she couldn't be there anymore because of the quick turn she needed to make, and she can't do that anymore with her leg. So we moved barns, and I started doing groundwork with her, which was quite a journey because I didn't know anything about groundwork, and I basically learned it myself because I didn't have anyone to teach me, and I never thought of getting lessons in it. So at the beginning, it was mostly from teaching her some tricks, like giving a kiss and stuff, because I didn't know what else to do. And then I started teaching her some stuff to really use her body and feel her body, because before she came to us, she was a breeding mare. She had 9 foals, and she was just used to keep going all the time. There wasn't any rest moments, nothing. So she really needed the peace in her head because she just didn't have that. So I was trying to give her that, but because I didn't know anything, I also didn't know how to give her that. And um, then, because of the some misunderstanding between that barn owner, we moved barns again, which made us go back to our old barn. And the barn owner there, she gives groundwork lessons, and that made us grow very, very much. I learned so much, and in the meantime, I also choose not to ride her anymore because her body was just so burned down from all the falls. When I stepped on her, her whole body hurt, so I couldn't ride her anymore. But our relationship grew very, very much from all of the groundwork. And I feel like we both have changed really in every aspect, actually, because I learned so much about myself and also became really conscious about my own body, because if you block her with your own energy and your own body language, she can't do what you're asking her. So we both became very conscious of our body. And now she's retired because she's just, she needed to rest. She enjoyed the groundwork, but she really needed the rest because that's basically what she never got. And now she's just being a horse. But because I couldn't ride Bo anymore, I started riding at riding school, and there is where I met Gambit. She was not the most popular pony. People thought she was too slow and she couldn't jump, and that's basically all he wanted to do. So, yeah, I just didn't care. So I started to build a relationship with her, but it wasn't the best environment for them. So it was hard for both of us because I learned so much about horses in the meantime with Bo that I started seeing so much more around Gambit and what the situation was there that I just had to do something. I started taking care of her more and more, and then last year, in no, it's almost 1.5 years ago, she came to live with us because the riding school stopped, and we discovered she has uveitis, and she is night blind, so she doesn't see anything in the dark. And when it's just a regular day, her eyes hurt very bad because of the sun, and she's slowly going blind. But we kind of accepted that and kept going, and now her bad eyesight is kind of what makes us even stronger.
It's just having the patience and the presence that you did to acknowledge that what Bo had been going through was needing some sort of a change. Like, she needed to find peace, and it sounds like she helped teach you a lot of the peace that you were able to help facilitate in her life over the course of your journey.
Yeah, that's definitely because, to be fair, I am not a really peaceful person. I need to do something all the time because I basically can't sit still. So it also teaches me to seek for some peace because I just couldn't do that. And when I don't have peace myself, I also can't give her the peace she needs.
Yeah, I can totally empathize with that actually in a lot of ways. Um, yeah, horses definitely give us a sense of, they definitely force us to be present, not only with them, but with ourselves. And it's beautiful to hear just, yeah, the journey that you went through and being able to help her find that peace, and also be able to like become aware of a sense of peace within you while you're working with her. And then as you've been exploring your journey with Gambit, the taking these obstacles that she has to go through on a daily basis and helping transform that into something that builds your connection deeper. Like, it's quite amazing, especially in this day and age where a lot of horses that aren't quote unquote normal are often discarded. And so it's like you're taking her and seeing the true spirit and the true light within her and helping her to shine even though she may be different than another horse, which is really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely is different in her normal life. She just needs to do everything different, because if you don't see what you're supposed to see, then you just have to change everything. But we're lucky enough that she sees most of what she needs to see when it's just daylight. But when she was at the riding school, she changed herself so much that they didn't know she didn't see anything at night, or um, yeah, she does see a bit in daylight, but that she didn't saw what she needed to see. Um, but because I was with her so much, um, and the stables there were so dark, I started seeing some things that I thought, like, this isn't how a normal person behaves. And not a person, how a normal horse behaves. And yeah, she basically couldn't see anything in her stall because they were so dark. And then they put her in a different stall one day, which was even more dark. And she lost her feeding bucket because it was on the other side of the stall. And that's basically when I realized this isn't right. This is not how she's supposed to behave. This can't be right. But at riding school, sadly, they didn't believe me, so we kind of had to figure it out ourselves until she came with us. She came to live with us.
So this is your page in the Dear Equestrians collective coloring book, and there's so much in this. Just hearing these glimpses of your journey, like the beginning of your journey with your horses, and then seeing this drawn sketch of you and your horses. There's so much energy to this, and the amount of connection that I feel is it's so immense and so beautiful. Can we talk a little bit about your uh the writing that's on the back of your page? So this says, choose connection and love and magic will happen. Trust that it might take a little longer, but things will turn out better than you ever could have imagined. Don't think too much, but feel more and stay present. It's just like such beautiful words there, like talking about staying present and trusting, and there's just my heart. Can you tell us a little bit about those words and how they came to be?
Um, about the connection part, I think connection has to go above everything. It just, yeah, magic really happens when you choose that. And I really experienced some magical things because of that. And then I wrote about have patience, I think. Yeah. And yeah, the patient part, I'm bad at that. And I really had to learn that because when, especially with Gambit, when she was at the riding school, she, I had to look at her and be her in pain and just see her suffer every time. And I felt like the time she was there was just impossible long until she came to live with us. So patience is something I learned there. And then when my patience got rewarded, it really did turn out better than I ever could have imagined, because I dreamed about having her with me every night. And it wasn't just, it couldn't reach the level of love and connection it reaches when it finally did happen. And yeah, that's basically how I learned that. And it really pictures just the whole journey, I think, is really everything I have to say about that in just a few sentences is in there.
That's amazing. It's truly beautiful. I think patience, kindness, patience is definitely a virtue, and that like helps establish a sense of connection, especially with horses. That I mean, I feel like I would say that horses are naturally patient beings, oftentimes more than we humans are. Um,
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you saw these riding ponies that were in the riding lessons, they were just. I would have grabbed a child and pulled him off the pony, but they just have so many patience, and maybe because they dimmed our spark to survive, but also, like, we humans shouldn't do that. We can't do that basically because we're not built like that, and they have just so many patience and so many old wisdom that they carry with them, even though they are still quite young sometimes. It's not something they have to learn, it's just something they naturally have.
yeah, I definitely agree. They're very they and you touched on the wisdom that they carry even from a young age. It's like they're born with this sense of divinity, and maybe to an extent we're all born with a sense of divinity, but the way that the horses go about expressing and sharing this wisdom with us, if we are quiet and patient enough to hear it, they share so much with us. And it's, I mean, going back to your page in the book, it's like this totally embodies it. Just, yeah, seeing this image of you sitting with your horses, and they're just like holding you in this horse hug of an embrace. Um it's it says it so well. There's so much in there. I also happen to see an owl on this page. Is there deep significance to an owl in your journey?
Hmm, now, I basically always felt attracted to owls and birds in general. Just anything that flies. I don't know, it just feels so light and grounded at the same time. And there were owls on my bird chart. So I basically always carried them with me.
That's beautiful. I love that you said that they're like light and grounding at the same time. It's like they embody a sense of air and earth, which happens to remind me of like being on horseback and riding and feeling a sense of freedom, and freedom in riding and feeling the wind as, yeah, it's there's like some symbology that I'm feeling with birds and with horses because of the sense of freedom that a bird has to just like take off and fly away. And have you experienced that in riding Gambit?
Yeah, I really experienced that. Sadly, I had a huge confidence setback in riding just before winter started, and I'm gaining my confidence back now, which is going pretty well at the moment. But before that, I would just go riding hours and galloping and being so free. And I really hope I will be back doing that by summer because I really miss that.
Oh, I'm sorry that to hear that you had a setback. Those can be difficult, but I believe it'll come back. You seem to have a
Yeah,
pretty deep understanding and connection with your horses, so it'll come back, I'm sure.
yeah. I'm gaining it back slowly and it's starting to feel more and more like it used to be. So
Mm.
I think it will be alright.
Oh, that's good. Another thing I want to talk a bit about is you mentioned studying craniosacral and myofascial work. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's going and what it means to you and the connection between that and the horses?
Yeah, I'm studying craniosacral now. It started back in September, and if I pass my exam, it ends in June. And it's really changed the way I look at horses even more, because I started receiving messages from them even stronger than I already did, because I basically always communicated with them in some way. But I kind of learned to learn them more and learn to really hear them and really find the meaning behind them. And I've experienced some pretty cool changes also um, in the horse's body when I've helped them a few times with craniosacral. And it's tough, but I really enjoy it, and I hope to do it as my job one day.
That's really fascinating. I don't know too much about craniosacral work specifically. I have a bit of knowledge in myofascial stuff, but is it can you walk us through like just a little bit of the process? Like if you're going out to do a session with your horses, are you able to talk a bit about the process and maybe some feelings of like communication that you get from them when you're working with them?
Yeah. It's the craniosacral technique itself is basically only on the body, but I kind of put my own piece of energy work in it that made it evolve, because I felt so good doing that, and it kind of happened itself. Um, so the craniosacral technique itself is basically there is um, fluid going around their body the whole time, and sometimes that fluid can get stuck, and that hurts. They don't like when it happens. And then if you put your hands in certain places, you basically call the self healing process and make it focus on that part of their body where it's stuck, and then it starts going around um, again. So it starts to run through the whole body again. And I kind of, I'm still really learning how to do that, but I kind of put my own piece of energy work in it, because I most of the time get in some sort of space where I'm between sleep and being awake when I'm helping them, and the whole world just fades out, and it's really only me and the horse. And when the owner is there and she stands in the energy circle with us, I also receive some things from the owner. And um it just sometimes some parts of my own body start hurting, or I get some sort of dizzy head, or the energy circle feels a bit tight or off, and then I try to communicate with the horse in a stronger way to clarify what they mean. And then I try to help them with that. And then most of the time, when the session is done, I start feeling awake again. And that's most of the time when I know, okay, now this is it for today. We can go um, we can reach for a deeper layer another time, but for today it's done and I've helped them for now.
It's really cool that they actually like tell you when the session's over in that way. I know they're very like energetic creatures. I've experienced a lot of like energy exchange between me and my herd, and I've heard a few other guests talk about like animal communicators and whatnot talk about um that like the horses giving some sort of clear indication, okay, that's enough work for the day. But it's amazing to hear that they like literally tune into your body and allow you to like share sensations with you. um yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing it. It's such a, it feels really sacred and really safe in some way. Even though sometimes their body hurts or they are uncomfortable, it also feels in some sort of way, it always feels safe.
There's a lot in that because I feel like you're creating a sense of safety for the horse, but they're also creating a sense of safety to like let you into their energy space. Is that
Yeah,
is that accurate?
yeah, really. Because I'm trying to make them feel safe in their own body and in the energy field there is around them. Because, yeah, basically, if the owner doesn't feel right, the horse also doesn't feel right. So there has to be some kind of balance between that. And I think it really is about making it safe in that, while also helping them feel more comfortable in their body and having less pain.
Hmm. I think safety, yeah, that's beautiful. Safety is pretty amazing in that way that it like having a safe space to open up definitely allows a sort of release to come. And again, here I am looking at your page in the book and happen to just I don't like the whole page just feels it feels incredibly safe and welcoming and like and open. And I am actually curious a bit about like the more of the symbology that is within the page, the trees that are in the background, the rays of light that are coming, the crystals that I see uh in the corner. Can you tell us a little bit about that and maybe how the scenery of the page relates to the sense of safety that either you've helped facilitate for your horses or that your horses have helped facilitate for you?
Um, the crystals are really important for me. I work with them basically every day. Also for my horses, they have them in their water or laying in their stall. And I just really enjoy working with them, and I feel like they're really, again, really safe and really sacred to work with. Because, yeah, a stone feels really grounded, while it can also help you fly in your own creativity and your own being in how you're supposed to be. And about the rays of light, which is actually funny because I didn't tell Nika about that until recently. In the Netherlands, in Dutch, we call them Jacobsladders, and my grandma's last name was Jacobs. So in my family, we basically see that as a sign she's here. And I never told Nika about that, and she just put them in my page, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And now I know this was the right choice to be a part of this, and it really, yeah, again, it felt safe because it felt like it was supposed to be that way.
Wow. That's really incredible that even Nika picked up on that energy and it wasn't even like told to her. That's really cool. It's so beautiful. Have you done coloring in the book out with your horses?
No, not yet, because
Okay.
it has been pretty bad weather out here. So,
Understood.
but I do feel like when I'm coloring in the book, I feel like the horses on the page are calling to me in some kind of way. It feels like I kind of reach that same state when I'm doing craniosacral and when I'm coloring in the book. Like it's really that safe bubble again, and that state between sleep and being awake, but really balanced. The uncomfortableness of the horses sometimes don't come through that much, but it's really that inviting energy.
I feel this, and I know there's quite a few of us within the collective group that have experienced feeling like a deeper connection to the horses or the people on the pages, which is it's really incredible. I mean, artwork alone is very what is it? It's very captivating and energetic in a lot of ways, but like having something like this where it's like we were all brought to this space and it's like within the coloring book in a certain way I feel like no matter where we are in the world, we're all connected through these pages and it's actually yeah, it's amazing to hear you say that and to yeah, just feel the truth in the power of connection in that experience alone. Do you feel like as you're coloring, are there any senses of like you feel like the horses are sharing a sense of like I don't know, helping to facilitate how the colors are going to be or like the mood of the page as you're coloring? Do you experience anything like this?
Yeah, and I also sometimes I color the horses exactly how they are. I've never seen the horses, I've never seen the humans, and I just start coloring, and I feel like they are there at that moment, and I can basically the inspiration can from come from anywhere. I basically look around and I think, oh, that's a nice color. I pick that one, and it's just exactly the color of the horse.
That's really cool. This is some like telepathy going on in the quantum field it sounds like, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's really comfortable and safe. It feels really sacred because it's basically just an open energy field you step into because it's. I also think it isn't just a coloring book. It's basically really an energy field you have when coloring in it. It's just so open, and we all had our experiences, the good and the bad. We all had to come here in some kind of way. We all had our journey. It wasn't easy for all of us, and we came here to make this, and we put it in a coloring book. But it could have been anything basically, as long as we had the same intention from making this, from sharing it from the one to others, and just creating the energy of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's a lot in that having similar intentions and the desire to share and this coloring book's incredibly it's there's a beautiful just journey that Nika's got going with the coloring book and her Dear Equestrians book that she wrote not too long ago. I don't remember exactly when it was released, but just the journey of sharing the horses and putting a light on the horses and acknowledging them as sentient sacred beings rather than a vehicle, rather than something that needs to be controlled by humans. And just as you mentioned, we've all had to go through our ups and downs to get to this point, and we've all had experiences where connection feels difficult, connection with our horses feels difficult, connection with maybe even the humans around us feels difficult, but in the end, here we are, and it's a very beautiful thing to be experiencing this journey, not only alongside of our horses, but alongside everyone else who's a part of this that has similar intentions. And yeah, it's quite an incredible thing. Brings me to my next question. I'm curious if having interaction with the coloring book, or maybe even the group that we like, the collective group that we're a part of through the coloring book, if you've noticed any differences within your relationship with your horses.
I feel like it really did do something. Maybe it even grew even more because I started doing things I kind of forgot I liked doing. I started doing them again because I was like, oh, they're doing that. I can try that too. And then I started learning through that. Yeah, I've really grown into that sacredness and that safety even more because of the coloring book, because I felt pretty alone sometimes in the journey and the struggles, but always staying with my horses. In that journey, I felt sometimes really alone, but seeing this coloring book, I am definitely not alone. And that really made me realize that because I struggled with having to prove myself sometimes for the equestrian world because I did things different. And at first, when being a part of the coloring book, I still struggled with that because I felt like I needed to be further in this journey, which isn't the case. We all still have our struggles and we all are still in the journey and in the adventure. And I feel like I've grown more from that, from realizing that. It really gave that even more open and safe opportunities to grow.
I really love this because this further sheds light on your words and your page in the book, and just the choice to literally choose connection over continuing to feel more so alone in the equestrian world. And I definitely can empathize with you in various ways of, like, feeling different, feeling like you have to do things differently, and not feeling at peace with different ways of approaching, like especially gentler methods in certain ways, even though your heart is like, this is how it needs to be, this is what the horses need. But back to just, yeah, uncovering the connection aspect of what this coloring book has brought to us, and simply your page and the connection that you've been able to establish with your horses, enough to literally like feel them, and that they're sharing with you certain aspects of their life that you've been able to help them with. And it just, as we continue to grow in our journey, I think it's such a comforting, safe, like feeling or thought to know that we can always choose to come back to connection. And this coloring book project is amazing in that way because we're not alone in this. And I think our horses know that project. Like, I feel like they've been present with each of us as we were writing to Nika our stories, and then they were present with her as she was drawing. And now it's like their energies and essence are present with everyone who opens the coloring book in a way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. They just were always present in that, and they they were just always there in everything we did. In when we first met the group, and when we first wrote to Nika, and when Nika was coloring our pages, I think they were just always there, and the connection with the project and with us and the horses was just always the core of it.
I would definitely agree. They're the spotlight of the show, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really enjoyed being a part of this because it made me grow so much, and I got a really good friendship out of it too.
It's really amazing. Yeah, I think it's really cool to have this community to sort of connect with, and I'm really grateful to just been to have had this time to dive into your journey and get to know you and your horses a bit better. What's your favorite way to reinforce your horses?
Hmm, that's an interesting question. I don't know, I feel like it's always different. It's just go with the flow, and that makes a difference every time. So I like pretty much everything about the whole part of reinforcing the horse.
Sweet. Is there any specific, like, I don't know, maybe a specific snack that your horses like, or do they have a special itchy spot that they gravitate toward?
Gambit really likes bananas.
Oh, sweet.
And she likes when I scratch under her manes.
Oh.
And Bo likes oranges, but she doesn't like cuddles that much, so she prefers me standing just a bit away and gently petting her.
Oh, that's sweet. She seems like a sensitive girl, but she seems also like she's very like present with her surroundings and with her energy.
Yeah, 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 that really describes her. We had an animal communicator communicating with them once, and she said they're like just the total opposite of each other, just like yin and yang. It's really Bo is really grounded and really present in everything, and really in her body, and really growing roots and just being there. And Gambit is like, yeah, let's go do something. And if she could fly away, she would. But in a positive way. She's so positive and happy in everything, and just really, really, mm, really happy, and really, really free.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Freedom is such a beautiful thing, and to see it in a horse, oh, that's just super cool. I really love that. That like, okay, that brings a sense of peace and positivity to my heart because it makes me think of my mare that also embodies a very she's got such a free spirit. And I've told Willow since I've had her, I wish I could put wings on you. So it's just an interesting sort of, I feel like maybe Willow and her would get along well. It's sweet.
Yeah, I feel like she really would enjoy a friend that just has such a free spirit as her.
That's sweet. Oh, it's beautiful. I think to an extent all horses have a sense of, like, natural born, they have a natural sense of like freedom within themselves, but some of them definitely express it more freely than others and more like fiery than others.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like that too, because if you first see Bo, you would describe her as a fire horse, but she's really grounded. And when you get to know Gambit, you discover she is the real fire horse. Like, she has the free spirit and the the drive to do something. Well, Bo is just calm and grounded. So when you first meet them, you might think it's the opposite, but when you really get to know them, you realize Bo is the grounded one and Gambit is the fiery, free one.
That's cool. I'm curious, as we're talking about like energies, where do you feel like your energy stands, like in either similar or different to their energies?
I feel like mine energy is more like Gambit's, and I feel like that's why we lift each other up, but sometimes we do it a bit too much because I am really free in that energy kind of way, and I just sense everything and I can't sit still. I want to get up and do something and have fun and just be bossy all the time, but in a good way. I can't just sit and do nothing. Like, if I have to sit, I have to read a book. I have to do something. I have to color. I can't sit, do nothing. And Gambit is that way too, in that free way. And I feel like that's why we lift each other up that much. But sometimes too much. And I feel like Bo gets us both really. Bo really keeps us on the ground. Like, otherwise we would just both fly away. And Bo is there to there to keep us on the ground and be let us be present.
I think that's really cool that that you have that like similar sort of energy as Gambit, and you're able to share that with her and like, express that with her, but also that you have this counter energy part that's like, just grounding and present. I often feel like, especially in a horse herd, they kind of attract like what's needed within their herd dynamic, and I've only experienced this a few times. I've heard a few other people talk about it, but like, I don't know, it seems like within your situation or your herd, they like the opposites have attracted each other so that there's more of a sense of balance and equilibrium within your herd dynamic, which is really cool.
Yeah, I feel like they really balance each other. They can get along very well, sadly, but when they are being nice to each other, they are really, really balanced. It's really. Bo acts more freely than she normally does, and Gambit is way more grounded than she normally is. So it's really yeah, really balanced if they are with each other. It's really how it should be, maybe. It feels perfect in these moments.
It's amazing. It's cool what that connection can do for sure. I think I think we've touched on a lot of beautiful points over this talk. I think I've really enjoyed this conversation with you and just getting to hear and experience a bit of your journey with your horses and diving more into the coloring book and just how it's touched your life and your horses. And it's such a beautiful thing. As we close up, is there anything more that you'd like to share?
I would like to share that I shared about my craniosacral course. I would like to share that I'm starting my myofascial release course in June, so I can't tell anything about that. But I wanted to share that I'm also starting that this summer.
That sounds really exciting. Is this
Yeah,
also gonna be for horses?
yeah, for horses.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I feel like it's really going to open up that energy field and that learning process even more.
It's really cool, and I think already with your learning and continued experience with your craniosacral work, you'll be able to uh, maybe understand the myofascial release better. Maybe the techniques will sort of communicate with each other in a certain way, and it all sounds like you're doing the work to become more and more connected to yourself and to the horses that you work with and to your own herd. And it's quite a beautiful thing. I think it's yeah, I'm really happy for you and excited for this new course that you're starting. And uh yeah, I love the enthusiasm that you have about your work and just it's I think it's so cool that you have the ability to learn and share these techniques with the horses in your immediate area because as we both know, there's a lot of horses that definitely need a lot of they definitely need someone who can listen to them, and doing the work that you're doing definitely sounds like a way to communicate with them and listen to them and help them become more comfortable in their environment. So I'm really excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like it's such a special opportunity to work with horses like this. It's really they have to trust you and you have to trust yourself. And I feel like that's such a special thing.
I would definitely agree. It takes a lot to like allow another being into our energetic space, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed our conversation. It's the first time I've talked about these topics so freely, so I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it too. I'm really grateful to have had this conversation and honestly excited to share this and continue connecting through the coloring book and however else will be brought to connect in the future. Thank you so much for your time today, for sharing your wonderful journey. Um, yeah, it's really cool to be sort of on this journey with you, and thanks to Nika and this coloring book that we got to connect today. So thank you.
Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Of course. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us. And I'll definitely we'll have links in the show notes on purchasing a coloring book if you're interested. And we will have Nele's Instagram handle if you'd like to connect with her there, as well as a few other things on how you can be sort of more connected to and about the coloring book. So just wanted to thank everyone that's tuning in and hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.